The Horizon Research Station hung like a fragile crystal against the infinite darkness of space, its metallic skin reflecting pinpricks of distant starlight. Dr. Remy Novak stood at the primary observation deck, her fingers tracing the condensation on the thick glass. Another monotonous shift was about to begin, or so she thought. The station's communication array crackled to life, breaking the familiar hum of life support systems. Remy's heart raced as she recognized the signal pattern. Something was different. Not the routine transmissions from Earth, not the standard maintenance pings, but something entirely alien. Her specialty in xenolinguistics had prepared her for this moment, yet nothing could truly prepare anyone for first contact. The signal was unlike anything in human communication databases. Fragmented, yet structured. Chaotic, yet purposeful. Dr. Novak, the station's AI interrupted. Unidentified signal detected. Patterns suggest non-human origin. Remy's hands moved with practiced precision, activating the advanced translation matrices she had spent years developing. Run comparative analysis, she commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The signal continued, a complex symphony of mathematical precision and harmonic variations. Each burst carried information, not just data, but something more, something almost emotional. Hours passed. Remy barely moved, her eyes fixed on the cascading streams of potential translations. The signal wasn't just communication. It was a tapestry of cultural complexity waiting to be understood. Suddenly, a clear image materialized on the screen. A being, humanoid, yet distinctly alien, silver-blue skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light, eyes that held depths of intelligence far beyond human comprehension. Zara, the transmission identified her. "I am Zara of the Keldoran Collective," the translation module rendered. "We observe. We understand. We challenge." Remy leaned closer. The challenge was evident in every carefully constructed syllable. This wasn't a peaceful greeting. This was a test. The Keldorans were evaluating humanity, sizing up their potential as an interstellar species. The station's secondary systems began to react. Defensive protocols initiated, energy shields humming to life. But Remy raised her hand, a universal gesture of peace. "Stand down," she whispered to the AI. "This is a communication opportunity." Zara's image flickered, her expression a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. The Keldoran scout had been dispatched to assess humanity's potential, and her initial readings were far from positive. Centuries of intercepted human transmissions had painted a picture of a species prone to conflict, environmental destruction, and short-sighted survival strategies. "You have one opportunity," Zara's transmission continued, "to demonstrate your species' worth." Remy understood the stakes. This wasn't just a conversation. This was humanity's first true test on the interstellar stage. One wrong move could seal their fate, potentially marking them as a species unworthy of further engagement. Her mind raced. How do you prove the potential of an entire species in a single interaction? How do you showcase humanity's complexity, its capacity for growth, its potential for understanding? The silence between transmissions felt heavy, pregnant with possibility and potential judgment. Little did Zara know, Dr. Remy Novak was perhaps the most qualified human to navigate this delicate first contact. Her life's work had been about breaking down communication barriers, understanding the nuanced language of different cultures, and finding connection where others saw only difference. The challenge had been issued. Humanity's response would change everything. The next 48 hours transformed the Horizon Research Station into a crucible of interspecies communication. Dr. Remy Novak worked tirelessly, her advanced linguistic algorithms pushing the boundaries of translation technology. Each transmission from Zara was a complex puzzle, mathematical equations interwoven with emotional undertones that defied traditional communication models. Remy discovered that Keldoran communication wasn't just about exchanging information. It was a holistic experience that incorporated mathematical precision, emotional resonance, and cultural context. Where human language used words, Keldoran transmission used multidimensional patterns that simultaneously conveyed fact, feeling, and philosophical context. Your language, Remy transmitted back, carefully constructing her response, is not just communication. It's a living ecosystem of thought. Zara's response came with a burst of mathematical sequences that somehow translated to a sound remarkably close to surprise. The Keldoran scout had not expected such a nuanced understanding from a human. The station's isolated environment became a laboratory of understanding. Remy utilized every resource: quantum translation matrices, emotional recognition algorithms, and her own intuitive understanding of language. She began to see patterns that her colleagues had missed. The Keldorans weren't just communicating. They were testing, probing, seeking to understand the fundamental nature of humanity. Each transmission became more complex. Mathematical sequences that represented emotional states, geometric patterns that conveyed historical context, sound waves that carried multiple layers of meaning simultaneously. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, the station's chief scientist, watched in awe. "It's like she's learning an entirely new way of thinking," he muttered, observing Remy's intense concentration. Zara's initial skepticism began to crack. The human before her was different. Not just intelligent, but genuinely curious. Where previous observations had shown humanity as destructive and short-sighted, this communication revealed depth, adaptability, and a profound capacity for understanding. A critical moment came when Remy decoded a complex transmission that was part mathematical equation, part emotional experience. It described a Keldoran cultural memory, a moment of collective survival that defined their species' understanding of cooperation. Instead of merely translating, Remy responded with a human narrative. She shared the story of the Apollo 13 mission, how human ingenuity, teamwork, and unwavering determination had saved lives against impossible odds. The transmission wasn't just a recounting of facts, but a vivid emotional journey of human potential. Zara's response came slowly, carefully constructed. "Interesting," the transmission read, but the mathematical patterns suggested something deeper, a growing respect, an emerging understanding. The Horizon Research Station had become more than a research facility. It was now a bridge between two species, with Dr. Remy Novak as its architect. As the communication continued, neither Remy nor Zara realized that their interaction was about to be tested in ways neither could anticipate. The universe had its own plans, and the true nature of both species would soon be revealed. The first warning came as a subtle vibration through the Horizon Research Station's hull. Most would have missed it, a microscopic tremor that suggested something was fundamentally wrong with the station's structural integrity. But Dr. Remy Novak was not most people. Her hand froze mid-transmission to Zara, a sudden chill running down her spine. "Marcus," she called to the station's chief scientist, "run a full systems diagnostic." Now, Marcus Rodriguez, a veteran of countless space missions, didn't question her instinct. His fingers flew across the holographic interface, layers of diagnostic protocols cascading through the station's complex network. Microfractures detected in the primary hull, the station's AI announced, its usually calm voice carrying an edge of concern. Structural integrity compromised. Estimated failure in 72 hours. The source of the damage was unprecedented. Something was slowly eating away at the station's advanced composite materials, a process that defied current scientific understanding. It wasn't corrosion. It wasn't radiation damage. It was something entirely new. Remy's mind raced. In the midst of their groundbreaking communication with Zara, a potentially fatal threat had been silently developing. The Horizon Research Station, humanity's most advanced deep space research facility, was dying. Zara, Remy transmitted, her communication now carrying an urgent mathematical precision that matched the Keldoran's own communication style. "We have a critical situation." The response came with unprecedented speed, a burst of information that was part diagnostic, part collaborative problem-solving. The Keldoran scout was no longer an observer. She had become a potential ally. Marcus discovered the first clue. "These microfractures," he muttered, zooming in on the molecular scan. "They're not random. There's a pattern. Almost like a form of communication." Remy's breakthrough came from an unexpected direction. The communication method they had been studying with Zora provided the key. The station's structural failure wasn't damage, it was a message. "It's a test," Remy realized, her voice a mixture of awe and determination. "The universe is testing both our species." The challenge was multifaceted. The station was breaking down at a molecular level, communicating through its very destruction. To survive, they would need to understand a language written in the fundamental structure of matter itself. Zara's transmissions became more frequent, more intense. The Keldoran was no longer just observing. She was actively participating, sharing knowledge that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. Dr. Rodriguez began implementing experimental repair protocols. Nano-repair systems were deployed, but they were fighting against a force that seemed to anticipate and adapt to every solution. "We need a unified approach," Remy concluded. Her years of linguistic research had taught her that true understanding comes from collaboration, not competition. The next 48 hours would determine everything: the survival of the Horizon Research Station, the potential relationship between humans and the Keldoran Collective, the very understanding of how intelligence and communication could transcend traditional boundaries. As the station continued its slow, deliberate breakdown, Remy, Marcus, and Zara worked in a delicate dance of scientific collaboration. Each solution revealed more about the nature of the challenge and about the potential of both species. The final hours of the Horizon Research Station's structural integrity approached with a sense of mounting tension that permeated every system. Dr. Remy Novak and her team had transformed the station into a living laboratory of interspecies problem-solving, with Zora's Keldoran insights proving to be both a challenge and a lifeline. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez discovered the key breakthrough during the 36th hour of their desperate analysis. The station's molecular breakdown wasn't random destruction. It was a complex communication method that required simultaneous human intuition and Keldoran mathematical precision. "It's a conversation," Remy realized, her eyes wide with understanding. The station itself is communicating, but in a language that requires both our species to interpret. The Keldoran transmission protocols Zora had shared revealed a multidimensional approach to problem-solving. Where human science saw linear solutions, the Keldorans perceived challenges as intricate, interconnected systems that required holistic understanding. Marcus began implementing a hybrid repair strategy. Nano-repair systems were reconfigured using Keldoran mathematical models, creating a responsive repair mechanism that could anticipate and adapt to the station's molecular transformation. Each repair became a dialogue, not just a mechanical fix. Zara's transmissions became more frequent, more integrated. What had begun as an observation mission had transformed into a collaborative survival effort. The Keldoran scout was no longer an external observer, but a critical partner in humanity's fight for survival. The station's central computer became the nexus of their combined efforts. Human intuition, Keldoran mathematical precision, and an emerging understanding of a communication method that transcended traditional language merged into a single, complex solution. With just 12 hours remaining before complete structural failure, the team achieved a breakthrough. The station's molecular structure began to stabilize, not through traditional repair methods, but through a new form of adaptive communication. "We're not just fixing the station," Remy transmitted to Zora. "We're learning a new way of understanding existence." The Keldoran's response was profound, a burst of mathematical sequences that translated to something between emotional resonance and scientific excitement. They had discovered something fundamental about communication, about survival, about the nature of intelligence itself. As the final hours ticked down, the Horizon Research Station transformed. What had begun as a potential catastrophe became a testament to collaborative problem-solving. The station was no longer just a research facility. It had become a living example of what could be achieved when two species truly sought to understand one another. Marcus watched in awe as the molecular structures realigned, creating a hybrid system that was neither purely human nor entirely Keldoran. "We're creating something new," he whispered. Remy understood the deeper significance. This was more than a technical solution. This was a bridge between species, a demonstration of what could be achieved through genuine communication and mutual respect. The universe had presented a challenge. Humanity and the Keldoran collective had responded with something far more powerful than simple survival. They had chosen understanding. The aftermath of the Horizon Research Station's transformation reverberated far beyond the confines of deep space. What had begun as a potential catastrophe had become a landmark moment in interspecies relations, a testament to the power of communication, understanding, and collective problem-solving. Dr. Remy Novak stood before the Interstellar Diplomatic Council, her presentation a masterpiece of scientific and cultural revelation. The station, now a living hybrid of human innovation and Keldoran mathematical complexity, represented more than a technological achievement. It was proof of humanity's potential for growth, adaptation, and genuine connection. Zara, no longer just a scout, but now a diplomatic liaison, stood beside Remy. Their partnership was a visual representation of the breakthrough they had achieved. Two beings from vastly different worlds, united by a shared commitment to understanding. "The challenge we faced," Remy explained, her voice steady and passionate, "was never just about saving a research station. It was about demonstrating our capacity to communicate beyond traditional boundaries." The council members, a diverse group of human representatives and alien diplomats, listened with rapt attention. The implications were profound. The hybrid communication system developed during the crisis suggested possibilities far beyond simple interspecies dialogue. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez presented the technical details. The station's molecular structure now functioned as a living communication matrix, capable of adapting, learning, and responding in ways that defied previous scientific understanding. It was a living language, a bridge between different forms of intelligence. Zara's transmission to the Council was a complex mathematical narrative that told the story of their collaboration. Where human words might falter, the Keldoran communication revealed the emotional depth of their shared experience. The fear, the hope, the moment of breakthrough that had transformed both species' understanding. The most significant revelation came not from the technical achievements, but from the fundamental shift in perspective. Humanity had proven that survival was not about domination, but about understanding. The Keldoran collective, initially skeptical of human potential, now saw a species capable of profound adaptation and empathy. "We are not defined by our differences," Remy concluded, "but by our ability to bridge them." In the months that followed, the Horizon Research Station became more than a scientific outpost. It became a symbol of hope, a beacon demonstrating that intelligent life could transcend its initial limitations. Research teams from multiple species began to collaborate, inspired by the breakthrough achieved by Remy, Marcus, and Zara. The station continued to evolve, its molecular structure a living testament to the power of communication. Each transmission, each moment of interaction, added new layers of understanding to its complex matrix. As Remy looked out at the vast expanse of space, she understood that their greatest discovery was not technological. It was the realization that true intelligence lies not in the ability to conquer, but in the capacity to understand. Zara's final transmission captured the essence of their journey, a complex mathematical sequence that translated to a simple, profound truth. Together, we are more.